Yes, sir.
You are kind of how we're focusing more, that's it, or at least how I was focusing more, that's releasing, letting go. And like how you said, like calmer. It's sometimes hard for me to mix that with still like staying active in the sit.
It is.
Because then sometimes I feel almost like falling asleep a little bit.
Almost. I'm like this.
Yeah, totally. I definitely caught one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my question of how to balance those.
That's a really good question. Let me make sure Zoom heard it. And there's some serious heavy hitters in Zoom tonight too. So I know they've had experience with this. Nick was asking about how to balance letting go more, softer, and with keeping attention and not getting spacey or drowsy or in my case, doing this and hoping nobody heard me. But it's a banger of a question. The number one, if you're sleepy during meditation, the number one kind of sneaky YouTube clickbait hack is to get more sleep. And then, there's lots of, invigorating breaths high in the chest with a forceful exhale, and there's all kinds of stuff. But it's just like I imagine any craft person or artist, like I could never learn how to play guitar, even though my father was a guitar player and he bought me a guitar and was really upset when I, kind of just could not. I never learned how you could, press those tiny little strings in that tiny little space. But, anybody who's been playing guitar for years and years and years, it's just second nature, it's just practice. So there's so much depth to these completely normal human faculties like attention, sensory clarity, concentration, relaxation. I feel like just getting comfy with the understanding that this is something you'll be exploring for your entire practice life. And also you'll find these really interesting things happening where sometimes it's like attention is doing itself. And that's, I know some people in the Zoom audience and even in this room too know what I'm talking about, but there's like the mindfulness that I'm doing, which is great. You got to do that. But then sometimes it's like there's a shift that happens and it's like you're coasting. And one way that has been really important for me in that regard is understanding the role of pleasure. So this is something that I have to, there's a couple suttas where the Buddha talks about this, and he talks about the cause of concentration is pleasure, which is a little bit counterintuitive for a lot of people, especially if we think of meditation like eating our vegetables or whatever healthy thing we don't want to do that we should be doing. But finding pleasure in the body, in the mind, in the heart. So gladdening the mind, finding a way to relate to your practice in a devotional way, like reading a story of, an inspiring story of the Buddha, if he's somebody that appeals to you, or, maybe some music that really gets to you. Like, I'm about to play that song that to me just sends me right to, loving kindness land. Even reflecting on your own, it's called, in the Pali writings and the suttas, is called silanusati, reflecting on your own good conduct. Like, when you sit, think of a time that you have been kind to someone. And it could be small, but that can really gladden the heart, and that naturally focuses the mind. So, sitting and then starting to find, like, okay, where does it feel good? for me, it really feels good at the, let's say, at 80% to the end of the exhale. So there's the exhale, and then the lungs do that kind of double catch, and then exhale, and I just feel the energy in my body, and it's so pleasant. And that's a really good. So if I'm getting like dozy, and I'm lucky, and I don't have to stand up, because that's the other thing I have to do sometimes is stand up or open my eyes to practice. Anyway, so that's a great question. And as always,